publish, publish, publish. Let's talk about the word publish. So, as a verb, publish means to make something public, especially written works like books, articles, or research papers, available to people in general. In common usage, we often use it when talking about putting out a new book, magazine, or newspaper, but it can also apply to sharing information online through websites, blogs, or social media. One thing to keep in mind is that publish implies a level of official or professional presentation. So if someone is just posting something casual online, we might use the phrase share with others instead. It's not quite the same as saying they're publishing their thoughts. Here are 3 practical example sentences using the word publish with their respective contexts. I'm excited to share that our company's annual report will be published on Friday at 3 p.m. So please make sure all necessary revisions are completed by Thursday evening. In a formal business context, this sentence uses publish to convey the completion and distribution of a printed or digital document. Meanwhile, I'm really stoked to finally publish my first ever short story in an indie literary magazine. It's been years since I started writing. In casual conversation with friends, this sentence uses publish to share personal news and excitement about creative work being shared publicly. Our research team is currently working on a study that aims to explore the relationship between coffee consumption and cognitive function, which will be published in the Journal of Nutrition Science next month. In an academic or scientific context, this sentence uses publish to indicate the dissemination of research findings through a peer-reviewed journal. So you want to know what publish means? Well, when we say that something is going to be published, we mean that it's going to be shared with a wider audience, like people all over the world. The main characteristic of publishing is that it makes information, ideas, or creative works available for others to see, read, or experience. It's similar to concepts like making public or sharing widely, and can also be thought of as sharing something through a medium like books, magazines, newspapers, websites, or even social media. When we publish something, it means that we're making it available for anyone who wants to access it. And it can be used to spread ideas, share knowledge, or showcase creativity. Does that make sense? Quote, quote, quote. So, let's break down the word quote as a part of speech. Quote is primarily a verb, but it can also be used as a noun. When you use it as a verb, it means to repeat someone else's words exactly, often in writing or speech. For example, if I say, "The professor quoted Shakespeare in her lecture," it means she repeated the words of Shakespeare exactly. As a noun, quote refers to the words themselves that are being repeated. So you might hear someone say, "I love that quote from my favorite movie." Common usage for both verb and noun forms is when people want to reference or share interesting, often inspiring or thought-provoking phrases. A special note about its usage is that sometimes quote can imply a sense of authority or expertise, implying the person being quoted has a level of knowledge or credibility on the subject they're speaking about, but this isn't always the case. Here are 3 example sentences using the word quote with their corresponding contexts. In a formal setting, such as a university lecture hall, a professor might say, "The famous physicist Albert Einstein once quote, 'Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world.'" This quote beautifully encapsulates his views on creativity and innovation. Here, the word quote is used to introduce a direct quote from a notable figure, highlighting its significance in the context of academic discourse. In a casual conversation with a friend at a coffee shop, someone might say, "I love that new movie." The actor's quote, "You only live once. But if you do it right, once is enough," totally cracked me up. I'm going to have to see it again this weekend. In this context, the word quote is used to refer to a memorable phrase from a movie or TV show that has become popular culture. In a business meeting, a marketing executive might say, "According to our market research, one of our competitors, quote, our product is not just a smartphone. It's a personal assistant. We need to come up with a more compelling slogan if we want to compete." In this space, here, the word quote is used to report on what another company has said about their own product, and to use that information as a point of reference for business strategy. So, you're trying to learn about a phrase that's often repeated by famous people, politicians, and even songwriters? It's essentially a short, memorable phrase that's meant to be remembered and passed on, usually because it says something profound, insightful, or thought-provoking. Think of it like a little nugget of wisdom that's easy to recall and share with others. It might be a saying, a proverb, or even just a clever turn of phrase that conveys a specific idea or attitude. When people use this type of phrase, they're often trying to inspire, motivate, or make a point about something important. It's like a verbal stamp that leaves a lasting impression on those who hear it. Release. 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 So, let's talk about the word release. As a verb, release can mean to let go of something that was held or kept, like releasing a bird from its cage or letting go of someone you're holding onto. It can also refer to making information, music, or a movie publicly available after keeping it private for a while, as in releasing a new album. In addition to this, release can be used in a more formal sense, like in the context of government policies or laws being put into effect, where the phrase "to release something into law" is commonly used. It's worth noting that when using release in a sentence, it's often paired with other verbs, such as saying someone released a statement about their feelings or an event, which adds more context to what you're trying to convey. Here are 3 practical example sentences using the word release, along with their respective contexts. At the annual conference of the World Wildlife Fund, the Director General took to the stage and announced that they would be releasing a new conservation plan within the next 6 months, which aims to protect endangered species in Africa. This formal usage illustrates how release can refer to making information or a project public. The context is one of importance, with a serious tone and a focus on the official announcement. In casual conversation, a friend might text me saying, "Dude, the new iPhone just released and it's already sold out at the Apple Store. We should try to get our hands on one ASAP." Here, release means making something available to the public for purchase or use. The tone is relaxed and informal, with a focus on personal excitement and a hint of urgency. In an academic paper discussing software development, researchers might write that the new algorithm they created would improve data processing speed by up to 30% upon its release in the next software update. In this business academic usage, release refers to making a product or feature available for public consumption or use, highlighting the importance of timely updates and improvements. The tone is formal and objective, focusing on technical specifics and potential benefits. So, you want to know about something that happens when artists, musicians, or writers finish creating their work? It's like a special moment when they share it with the world. The main characteristic is that it's making this new creation available for others to enjoy. Similar concepts are sharing, publishing, or distributing. It's all about getting your work out there for people to see, listen to, or read. When it happens, it means the creator is giving their finished product to the public, so they can experience and appreciate it. For example, a movie director might put out a new film, while an author might publish a book. Both are making their work available for others to enjoy.